Hi, and welcome back. So in this session we're going to just do some basic texturing in Mudbox. So what I like to do, so this mesh has been UV mapped, and I would like to select and go to a file, send to Mudbox as a new scene. Because I'm using Maya 2022 and Mudbox is also 2022, there won't be any problems. If you're using a newest version of Mudbox, then you have to export this as an OBJ or as an FBX and then bring that back to Mudbox for painting. But because both versions matches, I'm just going to send it to Mudbox. And this is what we get. And what I've done, I went and downloaded this one from Quixel, and I used the I've downloaded the color, normal, displacement, roughness, and yeah, I think these will be enough for now for me. And I've just imported the color one. So what you do in Mudbox, once you brought your map into your mesh into Mudbox, all you have to do is switch to layers, go to paint, and create your layers. This one is the diffuse, so I'll call this color map. And I'll keep it 2K for now. That's it. And what we can do, we could, if you imported the stencil, you could just turn it on, go to projection, and then you can set the mirroring or just off and start painting in the 3D. Just going to turn off the wires by pressing W. Ignore the sheen on the mesh. We haven't tweaked the materials on this software. This is kind of what you get. What I like to do though, I don't want to deal with stretchiness and so on and so forth. I like to do this actually. What I can do, I can actually go to UV maps or UVs and maps, flatten to UV space, and then click on the home button. What it's doing is actually showing me the mesh as a flattened UV atlas. And that means I can directly paint over it, or I can flood it from the camera, like so. And that's what I get. And if I go to, let me just turn off the grid. If I go to display, UVs and maps, and unflatten from the UV space, and then click on my home button again, I get the mesh back. And Mudbox has got this bug where when you do this process, it goes into a bit of a ghosted mode. So I go to Object, List, just click Perspective Camera and back, and then go back to my layers, and this is what I get. Now on top of this, you can start layering things. You know, we can have another diffuse channel and paint certain things, like depending on what you're trying to do. For instance, you can make it look a bit dirty in some areas, and something else. Make it a bit more perhaps more around here. And we know that these areas we want to kind of break these seams, make it a bit old. Keep painting. Texturing process requires a bit of time and finesse, and obviously pre-planning. I am doing a bit of a free dive on this one, purely just trying to get you to use Mudbox, and also I'm not necessarily a texture artist by trade, but I kind of uncomfortable with tools. Something like this. I really want to kill this part off. I'm going to increase the strength a bit more. And I'll maybe shift to clone icon. Just bring some of this back. And then go back to what I had. Projection. We could also use the blur to blur some of this. This is almost similar to using Photoshop, but in 3D with less tools. Oops. Like so, and I like to add a bit of you know, as if these areas have been weathered, just a bit more. That's it. And then what I'll do, again, as I said, you can layer more stuff to this. And you can have variations of your textures and mix them up. And we also have blending modes that enables us to make changes, so on and so forth. And then the next thing we could do, for now I'm just going to leave them like that. What we can do, we can also have a bump map. So if I just turn off the diffuse for the bump map, we could first of all make some big changes. White will bring up some of the surface relief, so we can actually do this stuff like this. And for instance, if I click on the steady stroke, I could actually do things like this to define some of those seams. And you can hold on to Shift button to erase some of those issues. And also, if you've got another map or another channel in the bump map where we had those images, some of which comes with their own bump maps, we can also take advantage of those to see what they can give us. For instance, in this one, I could set it to full and see what we can get. It's a black and white map. Enables us to randomize some of this stuff. Then again, it depends on what is it that you want to do. Just going to there we go. I can reorder the layers by middle mouse, dragging and dropping. Something like this. Let me turn on the diffuse. So we've got something like that with that extra bump. Again, you know, you could also I'm just saying, you know, I could go for another bump map or bump channel or bump layer, let's say around here. I don't know if you say for instance you're after something leathery, if you like, something like this. So that's too high. I need to reduce the strength. I can also later reduce the overall strength on this channel. You know, you can see in detail that we can make these kind of things. If you're after something like that, if you want to accentuate it and if you want to turn it into leather and so on and so forth. But I'm kind of happy with this too, in a way. I might revisit the color. So once you're happy with your bump and diffuse, the best thing to do is obviously save your file, and I tend to merge what I've got here and also in here as well. Here we go. So what we will do, we will export the bump map. So but before we do that, it's better to convert into a normal map rather than using a bump map. Normal map's a bit better. So I'm just going to hold on to the right mouse button. I'm going to say normal map from bump map. These settings, tangent and Maya and Softimage. Click OK. Turn off the bump. I will export this one. And then I'll just go and find it. Source images. CH shirt color map. Actually made a mistake. I need to change that to normal map. Here we go. And then I'll go to the diffuse channel, export that one, and that's the color map. And when we go back to Maya, we'll apply a new material to the shirt. And then we'll plug in the color. Through the file, no filter, folder, new textures, color map. And that's what we have. and then we go to the shader again, scroll down to geometry, bump mapping, file. Before we bring the file, it's good to change this use as a normal map, which is tangent space normals, and then click on the arrow to find the file, and that's the normal one. Click open, and when you bring a normal map to Arnold, change the color space to utility raw. Everything else is that, and I think if I go back to yeah, I think we've got what we wanted. Let me just see. Yeah, the normal map is in. When I remove the color, we can see it clearly. I'll bring that color back. And I'll just do a quick render. Okay, so it's quite shiny in here, so what I like to do, select the mesh again, and I want to see the presets first of all. I can use the velvet preset, so we'll have some form of a fabric first, so I'll just select that. Let's see what we've got. And then through the velvet is the roughness that I wanted to see. You know, it's also the specularity because it was too high, so we can tone it down. But obviously it's got that sheen and I don't want that, so I just wanna go to the sheen, maybe turn that off, turn it down a bit. So I didn't like this color. I mean, it looks alright, but I went back and made some changes and kind of broke this in. So I made the change in here with a different material and just doing some iterative tests. I think this is okay, and what I will do, I will continue working on the trousers just to show you. I mean, because I don't have a concept as such, the tests that I've done, this one with the leather for example, this is just one of the Quicksalt bridge materials, as you can see. With this one I've simply applied the texture without using Mudbox. Just rotated the UVs to make sure that the texture matches, and I think it worked. The shoes are one of those leather textures, and I've painted in Mudbox laces are simple, patterned texture, and the metal stuff I've simply used. These ones I've used the preset of brushed metal and slightly darkened it, and the same with the belt buckle as another material, but with just brushed metal. So I'm using simple inbuilt Arnold stuff. So I came up with different variations. Now when you have a concept, an idea from the beginning, it is fine, but when you don't have it, this was a demo that I was doing in the classroom about sculpting, so I didn't have a concept art as such, so I'm just kind of eyeballing this. So what I will do, now that you know how to bring in a color map and also a normal map, whether it's inbuilt or ready-made or in Mudbox, and also you know how to create a very basic skin material in Maya with the subsurface scattering and so on and so forth. We're gonna move on to the next session where I'm gonna show you all of it and how to import that into the lighting studio. So thank you for watching.